Hi, welcome to an MC Tech Chat video. I'm Eric, and I'm here with Caleb, and we're going to talk to you today about some improvements that we've been working on to our MC Trax website. MC Trax has been around for a long time, and it was due for an update. So there's some neat things we want to show you today, so that we can get your feedback on it and continue to develop. So, Caleb, what can you tell us about the old site that maybe needed some improvement?
So there were a lot of things with the old site that definitely needs some improvement. Did not age as well as we might have hoped over the years. A lot of things that were wrong with it were responsiveness between your different devices, mobile, desktop. There were some issues with alerts and people not getting alerts when they should be. So the goal was to improve all of that, refresh the UI, and make things a little bit nicer.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, when MC Trax was first developed, smartphones didn't exist in the same format they were today. So it was really built around computers and phones that look quite a bit different from today. And also it's grown to be quite a bit larger than our initial thoughts for the project. So we definitely made some expansions there. What improvements did we make to MC Trax? I know that there was some outgrowing on the back end. What did we change there that allowed us to grow?
So some of the stuff we did initially was we moved away from our old hosting providers, who were a little bit smaller, less known companies, over to AWS. So now things should be much more reliable and scalable for us to add things in the future. We also did a lot of back-end work to improve alerts, reliability, and stuff like that, as well as refreshing the entire UI.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because I know one of the frustrations that people have had the past couple of years is alerts that either aren't coming through when they should, or that they were getting alerts that didn't apply to their machine. What steps have we taken to make sure that that issue is resolved?
Well, for one thing, there's been a lot of little bug fixes and cleanup in some of the old code that wasn't working the way that it was intended to. We've also added a lot of error checking to see, what if alerts are actually, should be sent.
Yeah, that'll be much appreciated. And then I know that you mentioned that we revamped the look of the website. So yeah, let's take a look at that. I know you're itching to give everyone a peek. So here we can see the login page for the new website. And I shouldn't call it a website. So the previous version was designed as a true website. Go to the browser and look at it. Talk to me about how we took a different approach with this web app development going forward.
So with this web app, it works much better across all devices, as well as it's much more tied into the backend, so it should have a lot more functionality with it to do different things, show different dryers, getting data, and stuff like that.
Okay, so let's take a look at that then. So here we see the login page, which looks very nice. Let's go ahead and log into a dryer and take a look at what you mean about that modernized look. Okay. So right when we log in, I can see a completely different color palette and look here. Tell me what you mean about when we talk about the improved functionality across devices. I know that a lot of people, some people are looking at this on their computers, but a lot of people are looking on their phones or tablets. How will this new website function on those devices?
So basically, the entire screen should scale to whatever device you're on, regardless of screen size. So one of the things we can do is if we just simulate a mobile view here quick, you'll see that everything kind of collapses down nicely. And this is pretty much an exact representation of what you'll use across the different devices. If we set our responsiveness a little bit here, we can kind of scroll through the different views and see how things scale up and down.
Yeah, something more akin to a tablet there that's maybe in landscape or portrait mode. So regardless of whatever device you're looking on, it'll fill the screen. So that's one thing I noticed right away, is that in your phone view, that looks somewhat similar to our current setup. But once you're on a desktop here, it makes a lot better use of the space that we have and less scrolling. Okay. And then the other thing that we noticed right away is it looks like there's more icons and less words. So what were some of the concepts behind the way that this was set up and the color schemes?
Yeah, so the main goal was to make everything a little bit quicker and more noticeable to see at the start. So not as much reading. All of our colors line up with the charting colors that you'll see. And it's quicker and easier to recognize the more important information that you're seeing.
Okay. And I know that we have additional goals here in the future to make sure that some of this that we've built right now is still through a web interface, but what ability do we have to take this forward to an iOS or an Android environment in the future?
Yeah, so in the future, this whole site will be ported to an Android and iOS app. So that'll give us some ability to do push notifications as well as our SMS and email alerts. And with the way that it's set up now, when we do port that, the interface should remain exactly the same. So your experience, whether you're on desktop, in browser, the mobile app, mobile web, all of it should be exactly the same.
Yeah, that'll be great. And being able to have that room for future improvement. I know where we were with the existing website, we were a little bit handcuffed with what features we could and couldn't add. So having this rebuilt back end and then rebuilding the front end in this web app environment really does open up our opportunities here to continue to grow the product. So I guess on this page, I'd like to look around a little more. Can you show me a little bit about the navigation? There's some information we had on the old site about data logging and other things. How would I get to that information on this website?
So we'll start with your data logging. Most of your data logging is within your first card here. So all of these little tiles are clickable. And some of these features have not been built yet, so they'll be coming soon in the future. So each one of these will correspond to its own side, as well as you can click through each of them here as well. Get your dryer info there. As far as other navigation, we have this menu on the side here. So a lot of these are features. So dashboard is where we're at now. In the future, we'll have a remote tab. Right now, this is coming soon. So if you do need to use the remote tab or the alerts tab, you can always go back to the old interface because everything's still functioning normally there. Same with alerts. And then subscriptions.
Okay. Yeah, and as you mentioned, so anything here that says coming soon, we'll be continuing to develop this over the coming weeks. So some of these boxes that say coming soon may start to fill in as you use the new website here. So that all sounds great. So from an end user perspective, this looks like a nice facelift, new colors, more intuitive with rotating, with being able to get the information at your fingertips without having to scroll through a whole bunch of menus. What features have we added, for anybody else besides the end users? Is there anything on the site that we can do that we couldn't do before?
Yeah, so one of the main things is for dealers or multi-dryer users. So we log out, we come back in. It's a dealer level account. You'll see that we get some extra navigation buttons.
Okay.
So if you have multiple dryers, everything will show up on the side here. Currently, this is showing everything. So online, running, and subscribed. These are filterable between online dryers, running dryers. And if we click any of these, their data will show up. Apart from that, so we have a couple new views. We have a multi-view where you can view multiple dryers at once. You can pick and choose which ones you want. You can clear them all, collapse them. And then the final view we have is this list view. So if we select all, you'll see that the list populates with everything selected. So this is just a little bit more condensed view of everything.
This will be great. So depending on for users or RSMs or however many dryers you're trying to monitor at once, I know in the past it's been, a dozen windows open at the same time and trying to keep track of them. So in this way, if you just want to know who's running, you can go to that list view and see everybody who's running that you are overseeing that's tied to your account. If you want a little bit more information, you can go to that multi-view that you can view up to 6 dryers at a time, but you can see all the key information. What's the functionality on the cards in this view?
Functionality here is similar to the single view card. Again, all of these are clickable. The card backs will be the same as you see in the single view, but they'll be tied to each dryer instead.
Okay, great. So I think the only other item that I think we wanted to make sure to cover was the light in the dark view. So I know that our MC Trax website and now this web app have, our color schemes throughout. Would you mind showing us that feature?
Yeah, so in the side menu here, there's just a little moon icon. If you click it, you'll go to the sun side, and everything's light now.
Yeah, so depending on if you're outside in the daytime or night and you have a preference for, a lighter interface or dark, you can change between those. So that's pretty nice. So one of the biggest things for anybody watching is that this is a website that's a web app that's currently being developed. So we've gotten it to a point where we want to make sure that we start to get feedback. So you'll notice the blue banner across the top mentioning that this is a beta site currently under construction. Please do give us feedback. There's a button over on the right-hand side there, Caleb, if you can click on that button on the right side of the banner or down in the bottom right corner, you'll get a pop-up here to tell us what you think. And we encourage you to use that. This is something that we're actively building. We know what the next items are that we want to add, but we certainly want to hear what works well, what doesn't work well, and which direction you think we should go. So is there anything else that you had that you wanted to cover, Caleb? I think we should show them how to get to this, right? Let's make sure that we show how to get here.
Yeah, so if you're coming from the old site, mctrax.net, you'll see at the login page, there's now a new button for checking out the new interface. And this will bring you right on over. I guess we can also do, because this might not be initially you won't be logged in. So now when you click it, this is the screen you'll get.
Sure. And we can see right there that, given that not everything's available on the new site yet, if there's anything that you need to do that you can't get to, you can either click the old interface there on the bottom to go straight back to it. And also peppered throughout wherever you see a coming soon menu. I know we include links there as well to make it easy to get back again. And the login for both sites, for the old and the new, are the same serial name and serial number and model name they've used before. The same login credentials for any dealers will work on the old site as the new. You'll likely have to log in again on the new website. So I think that's everything that we wanted to cover. Is there anything else, Caleb?
I don't think so. I think it's about it.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching. Please do explore the new app and give us your feedback, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.